Hey, hey, hey.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome to another it's season 3 actually of Gym Time. So welcome everybody. We're doing it a little bit different today. We got TikTok viewers. So hello to our TikTok world, Instagram and Facebook as well. And you guys on YouTube, welcome as well. From me, Maurice.
And myself, Debbie. I am going live on TikTok as well for the very first time. So hi to the TikTok followers on there. And we should be on Instagram also. So hi and welcome to those that are on Instagram as well. So yeah, it's a full house today, Paul.
Yes, it is. It is a full house all round, And for you guys that have the link on YouTube, please make sure you comment in our chat. And you guys on TikTok, I'm not used to saying that. We will acknowledge you, and if you have any questions in there and we're able to answer them straight away, we will. So today, do you want to tell everybody what the show's about today, Debbie?
So the show today is about keeping love alive. So everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be loved. And we just really wanted to share with you literally just ways how you can keep that fire burning. I think that people are just going through so many difficult challenges and so forth, and you get caught up doing what you're doing and forget to show the love to people who you should be showing the love to your loved ones. So we're talking about relationships, and yeah, I just think that it's necessary for us to really start it off on a positive, talking about love. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. My TikTok is kind of not working.
Is it not?
Yeah.
My one's going crazy.
That is awesome. Yeah, my one's not working. It's shut down. So we've also got a guest that's coming on, and some of you who's been with us for a little while, you'll be familiar with Dennis. He's kind of like become our resident guest, and so we will be introducing him shortly. But Paul, how you been? Because we wasn't able to be on last week because you wasn't feeling too well, but I think some of the listeners might want to know how you are doing.
Yes, some of you know, and those that don't know, last year I had a stroke. So I spent 6 months, half a year that I didn't see outside. I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't really do anything at all. And by the grace of God, I'm here, moving, talking, and everything else like that. So unfortunately, not last Saturday, Saturday before, I had a mini stroke again. But I lost my speech, just my speech. Literally couldn't talk. I know it was like there was no way I could come on anyway. Yeah, no, it came back on the a little while after, but I'm here, and that's the most important.
That's the main thing.
You know? And I'm grateful for it as well, because I do like doing these podcasts. I do like encouraging and motivating people. So, and if I can add some kind of value to you or to your life, or your situation, then I've achieved the goal that I always want to do. And with that, we used to say all the time that we're gonna do what, Debbie?
Disclaimer.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to do any of that. You know,
yeah, that's what we said at the end of last season. I think that those of you who know, those of you who don't know, get to know. So yeah, but really, we really can just express that our desire is to come on here and empower and inspire you to have better, fruitful relationships, and that's what we do. We do that in season, out of season. So we do it when we're on the podcast, when we're not on the podcast. That's what we do. We're encouragers. We are people who constantly speak into people's lives. And so for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you know, as my brother said, this is season 3. And so we've been doing this for a minute now. So I don't think that we need to do the disclaimers. We can just crack on with what we're
just the one thing though. After when we tell you, I can't help it, Debbie. I got to say it.
Go on.
If what we say, you apply it and it doesn't work, nobody cut your neck. I've been saying that all seasons, yeah. As we're saying is that, and I always say this, and this is the truth, you can apply some of the things, you know, whether you're taking notes or you can take a mental note. When you're applying some of these strategies, you know, you might have to just like revamp it and do it a different way, you know. Absolutely. Because who I am and who you are totally different people. You know, we talk differently, but with this, it means that you know, you adapt it to yourself, the way you speak, the words that you use. You know, you don't have to find any big eloquent words, just express yourself, you know. So here we go. I'm so.
So are you going to introduce Dennis? Introduce Dennis.
You can't click him on, you know. You could have clicked him on.
No, but you got to do the run up. You got to do the run up. You got to introduce him. You got to big him up. You can't just say, "Here's Dennis." Yeah, do the drum roll, everything. Get it, Dennis? Get it?
This is where you could have you had that in your mind, so you should have pumped it up and bring in Dennis. Anyway,
just go on with it. Go on with it.
I'll do it. Yeah, because Dennis is a dear. We started off with as a dear friend, and then over the period of time, we are brothers. You know, I love him dearly. This man has been through the wars and still going through the wars. You know, he'll tell you a little bit about himself for those that don't know him. He's on TikTok as well, so he'll tell you what his TikTok name is, etc. But he's an inspiration. You know, if you're able to go back and look at some of the videos as well, you'll see him on there, and he has a wealth of knowledge and experience. You know, and without further ado, here is my good friend, my dear brother, Dennis. Come in, my brother. Come down. Come in.
Can you hear me?
We should. Yeah, yes. We can hear you. We should have the clapping hands. Like we're in a football match. That's what we should
Yeah.
have.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to get some of these buttons, you know.
Yeah, you got to do all the applause and all that. That'll work. That'll be nice.
That's
Get all
coming.
that extra stuff.
Don't worry, that's coming.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
We're doing good. It's a new season, it's a new day, and we are glad to be back. And I just think that, you know, the little break really did us well, and, you know, just ready to go with it again. So yeah.
Well, let's do it.
I should have asked. I should have told you to put on your TikTok as well, Dennis. But you know,
I just walk in the house. I just when you caught just put the key in the door. I said that I knew I was gonna come back earlier. I was doing something. I went out and came back. But yeah, we made it. We made it, man. I like my background. You know, I don't know. See my background?
Awesome.
Yeah, you stole it.
I stole
why
it.
Why you in my house? That's my house.
I stole it. Yeah.
Where are you?
The other day when I was talking to you, I said, Paul got a nice study, man. He's doing it big. I didn't even know. Until you told me. You told me, man, that's my background. Like, wow. You could have left. I said, Paul hiding something. You got a nice study to move up in the world, Paul. You ain't saying nothing about that new study behind it, but it looks nice though, Paul. Looks nice,
brother.
Yeah. Wow.
I tell you, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. I'll give you a few minutes, and if you go over, then I'll just jump in and stop you.
Yeah. I'm good.
I'll just click you off the screen. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit about myself. What can I say? I'm a divorcee, not by choice, but I'm a divorcee. Of course, some of you don't know, but I've been battling cancer for the past 10 years. I've had 7, actually 7 cancers, but I'm here, and the battle continues. We're still fighting, and we got some good news the other day. One of the cancers is undetectable, so you know that's something to be grateful for. You know,
Absolutely.
but just battling and you know trying to stay positive. And I was telling a friend. When they see me out, they don't see what I'm telling them. I say I don't. When I leave my house, I don't take none of that with me. I'm a whole nother person when I step outside this house. You know, you can't. You know, sometimes you just can't. Some people wear it on their sleeve. I don't wear it on my sleeve. I just don't. You know, if people ask, I will share. A lot of people already know. You know, but also knowing makes people afraid. You know, some people are afraid because I don't know if they think they're gonna catch it or I don't know. But I realize I'm a living testimony for God. You know, He's done some great things in my life, even though to some people it may look like it's tough. Sometimes I feel like Job, you know, but I still trust Him. You know, I still believe that, you know, instead of focusing on the negative, I try every day to focus on the positive, what's good and what's right in my life, and try to do right by people. You know, and I think that's a goal. You know, that's something that I thrive for every day. You know, to do right by people. You know, and whether they do right by me, it doesn't matter because we mandated by God to do right, even when somebody do us wrong, and they ask you why you still being nice to me because it's mandated by God that we continue to do good by people, even though they despitefully users and abusers. We're called to continue to do His work and to show the other side, not that bad side, but the other side. Then they could see God's grace and mercy through us. And that's what I try to do every day.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Dennis. You know, yeah, Dennis is in the States. Whereabouts are you, Dennis? Your screen's frozen, by the way.
Hey Siri.
Hey,
hello.
My name is Siri. I'm Maurice or Paul. Yeah, well, I think Dennis is having a little
technical issue
itself. So
for those of you on TikTok, Instagram, and live on YouTube, we're just asking you to just share so the algorithms can, you know, bring more people in, and also it will really help us moving forward. If you could just share, we really appreciate it. So
And please comment as well, as we're going along, as we're going to go into our subject matter now. And we'll try and read out all your comments as we go along. Okay. So keeping love alive.
Hello, can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you now,
Yes,
Dennis.
you can hear you. We're
Oh, you
gonna
can see.
start the
Okay.
show
All right.
officially.
Okay.
So keeping love alive. I was able to, I mean, besides my personal experience, I also or we also go and look at what other people say as well, and topics which on every topic actually. And on this one site, though I don't remember where it came from, it says keeping love alive is essential for any relationship to thrive and grow. And I think we all agree with that. You know, love is the foundation of a strong, healthy relationship, and it requires constant effort and nurturing to keep it alive. And I think that if you're not trying to or constantly trying to and make an effort that's seen, an effort that makes that difference, you know, in his life or her life, then you're gonna get the negatives, you know. And at the same time, it is that both of you are making an equal effort of nurturing what you've got. It goes on and it says, it is important to communicate openly and honestly. And I think we miss the pillow talk. I think there was a show that we done, and the pillow talk that I'm talking about is that when you first meet, you know, and you're on the phone and his voice goes all deep because he's tired, but he ain't coming off the phone. And hey, I'm in England, so I'm gonna say, "Hey, baby," and for you lot in America, yeah, "Hey, babe," you know, what's up? And you look in Jamaica, "Well, girl," and I can't do any other languages. Well, I can, but you know,
Konnichiwa.
yeah, that love talk, yeah, when what you got on. I don't want to go no more, you know. But we're supposed to keep that alive, you know. You might be at work at night and you're kind of, you know, or during the day, you know, because that's what we did, you know, during the day. If you had your lunch break, yeah, the first person you're calling, you even stuffing your food or eat your food quickly so that you can have a conversation, or you know, eating with your mouth. Oh, what you got? And you're talking foolishness. You're not even talking about anything in particular. You know, what you got for lunch? Oh, I got a banana. You know, so, and laughing at silliness, and we seem to fall into this relaxed mode when we get that partner in our life. So I'm saying that you got to remember where you're coming from, you know, and make that concerted effort to continue to love on the person that you're with. So, and that pillar talk, what I'm saying about open communication, it's the things that seemingly get you down, or seemingly the things that you don't like, or they upset you. You know, you can sit down and have a talk, and we let all the things of work, children, and everything else, it takes over our life, and it's not supposed to. We're supposed to make time for one another. So I'm going to just read a little bit more, and then Debbie, I'll let you add to this. So it's important to communicate openly and honestly with your partner, expressing your feelings and showing appreciation for one another. Small gestures such as saying "I love you," you know, a small gesture of some women don't want you to put your hand in their face. Yeah, so you might have to stroke the hair, and then some women don't want you to touch the hair. So leave the hair alone. So some women don't want to smack on her bottom because they don't like that. So you better find it what it is, that thing that she likes. No, just being able to hug, you know, a small gesture as a hug. Even when they say "I love you," even just a hug with no words. Sometimes you don't have to be any word. You just come and hug one another. I learned that. I had to learn that sometimes a hug speaks 1,000 words. Nothing's wrong, but you just give that hug. As a man, I'm saying that, Debbie.
Yeah, so I think that for me, keeping love alive is essential. It's funny enough, I was looking for something on my pictures, on my images today, and I saw a video of, this was during the lockdown, and like me and my husband would go to restaurants or go out during, for our date nights, and then now we've got lockdown, we can't go anywhere. So I did like a dinner in the garden. So I did like lay the tables, I put candles out, I just did something different. We couldn't go to no restaurants or anything like that, so I did it in the garden. And that to me is about looking at your resources, looking at what you've actually got. How can I still have a date night with my spouse, because we can't go out? Some people are just like, oh well, we can't go out in it, so but I just did that in the garden. I created like a whole restaurant theme in the garden, and we dined in the garden. We had our prosecco in the ice bucket and everything set up in the garden. And I saw it today. It was because I videoed it, and it's just those kind of things that keeps love going. It keeps it alive. It keeps that person realizing that you are still interested in them. You're still going, out of the way to make them feel special, make them be seen. And and the other thing, like you said about gestures, Paul, and sometimes it's not even the hug. Sometimes it is the smile from across the room. You could be out amongst people and you could be talking over one side and your spouse could be over the other side, and it's just that connecting with each other, seeing each other, making eye-to-eye contact, and that smile. And sometimes that smile it's saying a million things, like, yeah, wait till you get home. Do you get what I mean? And it's keeping that connection going with your spouse, rather than you're both out, you're so engrossed in what you're doing with other people and so forth that you don't even glance at them. You don't remember that they're even in the room. And so there's so many different ways that you can keep love alive. And I think that if you was to give somebody what you want, I think that that's where a lot of people should start from, rather than always just saying, well, I don't know exactly what they want. It's better that you do something than to do nothing. And, I hear couples, because I speak with couples, I speak with individuals, and they say, oh, I've tried this or I've tried that, and they're not interested. But you know what? Sometimes they might just not be interested that day. It doesn't mean that they're not interested, period. They might have been having a really challenging day, don't really want to talk, and you might, go to caress their leg or something, and there's no response back. And then you think, oh, I'm not going to do that again because there was no response, but it's about doing it at the right time and understanding that that person might not have been receiving it at that point, but they might receive it at another point in time. So I'm going to go over to you, Dennis. What things would you say how couples can keep their love alive?
I always say you got to remember what got you there. You
Absolutely.
can't go wrong. You can't go wrong if you continue what you started. Whatever you started, can finish it.
Yeah.
And you can't go into something. A lot of times you're a chameleon. Or
Mm-hmm.
you listen to the person that the object of your desire. You listening to that person, but you're listening for things, and you morph yourself into that person. And then when you get that person, you go back to your old self, because
Mm-hmm.
the whole idea was to get you in a certain mood, to get you where we want you to get you, make you comfortable, and say, well, that's my guy, that's my girl. And then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden you're like, whatever. But what happened to all the things that we used to do?
Absolutely.
We make I know this. After you go through a divorce, or you do a self assessment. Me, I did it. I don't know about everybody, but I know I had to, because and it was the little things. It's not the big thing. It's not the big vacation. It's not none of that. It's the little small things. I wish I would have left a note on the counter when I left. I wish I would have called more and, hey, look, I'm thinking about you. I think um, the foreplay of a marriage. When she had the stove, you pat on the butt.
Hmm.
When you leave out, you give a. It's That's the foreplay. That other stuff comes later. But if you get her warmed up, or you get him warmed up by doing the little small things that you keep in their mind throughout the day, is always. And also, it's so important. Uh, I know for me, having a praying person, the person in my life, they gotta pray when I'm not with them and when I'm with them. We praying is reciprocated. We praying for each other. That way, we focusing on our relationship, how we get it better. If God put us together, then we got to continue to go to Him, and not. And when we left up to our own devices, we mess up. We forget about those little things that. And then when y'all make, we used to do this. You ever had that conversation where you ride with your girl? You remember we used to do this. You remember why we got to remember when we should be doing this throughout the whole marriage? I
Hmm.
think when we get comfortable with each other, we take each other for granted, and it works on both sides. And also, listening is a lost art. We have to listen. It's the little small things. Oh, I didn't even know you remember that. How you said that the other day. That means that you're in tune to that person, or you're in tune to that relationship, and you're
Hmm.
both good listeners. And the things that you won't make a dinner if you know that that person not cool with that. You'll do something that you know that they do, that they like, that you don't do it all the time, but you
Absolutely.
realize when that person see the effort that you put, and they appreciate your effort. Look what you went through. Wow, you mean
Hmm.
tell me you set this all up for me? Yes, and that's my take on that.
And you know
Uh,
what? I wanted to ask the question, sorry, Dennis, when you
uh,
said about, you know, if you're with somebody and they expect for you to, or like in the beginning, there's an expectation that that person's gonna come after you, they're gonna woo you, they're gonna do all of that, and then when you are doing those bids for love, there isn't nothing coming back. Does that cause a man to say, well, I don't know if I'm going to do that, I don't know if I should do that, if she wants me to do that? Is it a case where you would have to go and now ask them, should I do this now, because she's not responding in the same way that she responded before?
yeah, yeah, I think that um I just know that when you slow down and you be patient, and if you're trying to rush things, you can't think what somebody's thinking, because you don't know what that person thinking. You just don't know. That's why when you're in tune to that person, and you looking at your man, or you're looking at your woman, and you understand that person, you understand that's your best friend.
Hmm.
You know little things that about each other that nobody knows. You said something earlier, that you in a room, y'all far apart, but y'all looking at each other and y'all know what it is. That's when you're in tune with each other. That's when you feeling it. You understand? You're feeling
Hmm.
that person. When that's how sometimes you can see that when something is you removing yourself quietly from the relationship, because the little things y'all did before. Just we don't even have to touch each other. Just looking at each other, and we laugh. Peter, why he laughing? Why she laughing? Because I done looked at you. I done
Hmm.
you know
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah.
I'm feeling you.
Mm,
We in a room with full of people, but it's just
Hmm.
me and you. Only you and I know that language. It's our love language, our language that we speak it. We don't have to speak it. And
That's
and
right.
another thing, all that talk is cheap. Action is what it is. You have to put action. I love you, but they say this. What's Tony Braxton say? Love should have brought you home last night. It
Hmm.
takes more than that. It's not love. It goes. Love is at the bottom. All those little small things that you do on a daily basis, that you thinking of that person, you're showing them. Not in
Hmm.
your words, but in your actions, But don't
that's
do it
right.
and
I was gonna
don't
say.
do it and stand at the door and, well, he ain't say yes. He ain't
Hmm.
said nothing to me. That
Hmm.
that that brings up resentment. Oh, now you want to tell me thank you, waiting for a thank you. You're not doing it from your heart. I know now. Just do it. And if they never tell you nothing, good,
That's
fine,
fine.
because you're
That's
doing it
That's
from
fine.
your
right.
heart.
You just
That's when
do
you
it.
get
Absolutely.
That's
mad.
right.
You take away the
Yeah.
whole ambience. You take the ambience of the whole situation, and you done did something. Oh, you didn't like I just did the roast. You don't like the roast beef? Well, hold on. Give me time for it to digest. I didn't even go to the toilet yet, and you crying about did I like the roast beef? And those are the things it takes. You know what I'm saying? It just takes away from that moment because you go in there with expectations.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You say, boy, if I do this, I'm gonna do it. Oh man, it's going. No,
You
no, you
do
Yeah.
it.
got
You
that thing
just
jacked
do
up
it.
in your
You
head.
know.
That should be a normal thing. You should like when you do it and we feel it as men. Man, look my lady, look what she did. Wow, you did
See,
this for me.
sometimes it's even to the little things of, and it's the big things are wonderful, but it's the little things like, baby, don't, let me just finish that wash. Let me do that washing up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm gonna just read a little bit more of this. Yeah. So we said uh, gestures that like I love you, etc. Or surprising them with your favorite meal, like what you were saying, Debbie. A bit like that.
Mm.
It can go a long way in keeping the spark alive. It is also crucial to make time for each other and prioritize your relationship amidst the busy demands of life, continuously working on trust, respect, and understanding. That can help strengthen the bond between partners and keep love alive. Remembering to have fun and create new memories together can also reignite the passion and excitement in the relationship. I just want to stop there. We need to be creative.
Mm.
We need to think,
Mm-hmm.
we've never done this. Let's try this. You know, let's try bungee jumping. No. I ain't doing that. Oh, I'll tell you that now. I go with you if you're dear enough to that, but you should know your partner, what they like and what they don't like.
Absolutely,
My
absolutely.
my wife was she knows I like driving. I love driving, so I've had a few driving experiences. I got another one coming up, police interceptor. You know,
That's a
I
good
love
one.
it. You know, it's that adrenaline boost and just the fact that you know that I like driving and enjoy. I really do. I love it and enjoy it.
Mm.
But I do. I enjoy speed. That's what I
Yeah,
enjoy.
yeah.
So having that as a gift, man, for me that was just, it's the little things that you notice.
But
There's
Paul,
lots of
don't
little
you
things
make
that I
time?
like.
Don't you make time for what you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You want this person, but you get so busy chasing that dollar. You chasing and chasing, you chasing,
Mm,
and you say, "But baby, look what we got." But a house is not a home if ain't nobody there.
Yeah.
hey,
You
just
too
tell me
busy out
about
there in
it.
that world, and you running and running and running and running. But look, I'm driving a nice car, but you're driving and you're crying because you're miserable. You're in
And
a
you're by
house,
Hmm.
yourself. You
and
ain't
you're
got
by
no one
yourself,
listening.
and he's saying, I understand you got to work. That's not what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
understand that you got to do what you got to do, but at the same time, you make time for what you want. You do. If you love that person that
Exactly.
much, you gonna make time. You go, I don't care, come hell or high water.
Hmm.
I'm
Because
nothing
you
gonna
was in
stop
the
me from.
beginning. Because you was in the beginning,
Yeah, that
and then
taste.
Mhm.
That
and
taste.
then something happens. The dynamics change, and then it's well, I've got to stay late, or I've got to do this, or I've got to do that. And something you said earlier on, Dennis, you said it like if you're at work for argument's sake and you was to be thinking about the person, I think that it goes beyond you just thinking about the person, because what happens, instead of sometimes people just saying what they're thinking and feeling, they're like, oh well, I probably told her last week, or I probably did that last week, or
Mhm.
you know. And I think it's important that when you're thinking it, that you share that you're thinking about it, or if you can't do it at that moment in time, when you get home, you say, or on the way home from work, I was thinking about you today, babe. I was thinking about this, or I was thinking about that. You was on my mind, and share. I think it's important for you to share what you're thinking and feeling about that person. Maybe not
Mm,
necessarily in the moment, because it's not always convenient, But I do know through talking to many people, they're telling me, I love this person. I think about them all the time. In my mind, I'm like, they compliment them in their mind. And I'm like, why don't you share that with them? Like, you're telling me, and I hear you, but they're the person that you need to share that with. They need to know how you think and how you feel about them. But you know what happens? Sometimes people get rejected. Yeah.
They hate rejection.
So
Yeah.
so they might be in a situation, like I said earlier on, there might be some contention or something that's come up, and it might be something that that person said. And then instead of you now going and saying what you're thinking and feeling, because you don't trust how they're going to respond to you, you've now gone back into the past, thought about how they responded to you in a particular time, and say, do you know what, you've come to conclusion, it's better that I don't say anything, even though
Because
I'm
you
saying
hold,
something.
yeah, you're holding chips. You
Yeah.
when you holding them, and when you do something, and then you go back in your mind and we start talking. We're in a good place. But then you
Hmm.
start talking about last week, last month,
Yeah.
2 months ago, last year.
Which
You don't
then
got in the weeds. You
it
no longer,
eradicates
yeah,
everything.
you don't took the ambiance, you don't took all, because what happens
Absolutely.
is that you all day, imagine all day you prepared. Oh, she gonna feel like this, and I did it, man. I did it
Mhm.
because I never forget that. I never forget this. This is a God honest truth. Man, I dropped my ex-wife and my son off to school, and something hit me, and I love flowers. And man, I went to the store, man, and I mean, I got all this thing in my mind. I mean, I'm all jacked up in my mind. I go to give me these beautiful, beautiful yellow roses. When the lady gave it to me, she said it was beautiful. When I walk outside the supermarket, an old man, him and his wife got to be like 80, 90 years old. They were walking. He said, oh, somebody's gonna get on their knees. And I like, no, man, just because I'm all geeked up, right? I'm all. I mean, you man, listen, I was like in the sky, man. And so I get to school, they still have some parents in the parking lot. I say, oh, that is so beautiful. Man, I'm like, you can't believe where my mind was, man. I say, man, when she see them flowers, man, it's gonna be on and popping. I get in the school, the security say, oh, somebody's in trouble. I say, no, brother, just because, man. He said, I ain't mad at you, brother. I ain't mad at you. I go in the office. The receptionist in the office. She excited. She said, "Oh, Dennis, I can't wait to see." She get behind me. Her boss get behind me. I want to see her face. She shares an office with 3 other people. I mean, man, I can't tell you what I was feeling, man. I mean, it was just incredible. Man, I walk in that office with them dozen of roses. My ex-wife never moved. She never moved at all.
Wow.
She's still sitting there till today. She's still sitting there. She never moved. And I could laugh at that. I could laugh right now about it, but
But at the time,
yeah, because again, there things going on around me that I wasn't aware. You understand? That's
Right.
why it's
mm,
so important that you be in tune to your person. You understand?
Mm.
I mean, you could tell a subtle change. You don't have to say it right then
but
and there, but I'm telling you, don't let days and days go by. Oh, last Monday you were. What are you talking about, man? That's a week ago.
see,
No,
and that
yeah,
that that
yeah.
is
You
about that
wait.
communication.
What's that?
That's about that communication. That's about the
Communication.
open
Exactly.
communication.
That's
Yeah, you got to
valuable.
be.
That's valuable.
There's
Oh,
no point in keeping these. It's like
yes.
brick after brick after brick after
Yeah.
brick. There's no cement. Yeah,
No. Yeah.
you're just putting a
Yeah.
brick on top of a brick on top of a brick, and then when it comes to like a situation like that, it just falls flat because
Exactly,
you
and then
might
you're
have
all
been
into your feelings.
expressing
You
yourself.
get all into your feelings, and you're emotional,
Yeah,
and you're leaving. Because I'm telling you, because I did it. I went, and then you have that resentment. I done went to them when I pick up and like, what was all that about? Oh, I was surprised. I said, girl, I done sent you flowers from here all the way to Trinidad. I see. I know how you see when I send flowers, but something, again, even then. I was so caught up in my feelings, I didn't identify, you understand, that she
hmm
was going through some stuff with me and I didn't know it.
Right.
It makes no sense when one of us is happy. A house divided cannot
yeah.
stand. And if you're not in
See
tune
the
to your
thing.
person, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
If go on, finish that.
No,
If
I
you're
was
not in
saying if
tune
you're
to your
not in
person,
tune to your, if you're not in tune to your person, you know, and that's why I go back to what you said, because you said a beautiful thing, you know, Debbie, when you said when you're in the room, I remember that. I remember I had somebody where you just look at the room and why are you laughing? She all the way on the other side of the room. We know
yeah,
what it is. That we feel
yeah,
each other when we
yeah,
get home. We
that's
connect
right.
when we ride in that car. We holding each other. We doing. You know, you did all. You know, when we woke up that morning, I tapped on that behind. I said, "Girl, I'll catch you later." You know, I left a note. That's all that stuff. That's part of the foreplay. It's
Mm-hmm.
so easy to climax. You done did all the work.
Yeah.
Then when you
And
come
you know
together,
what?
it's easy.
It's back. It's not just him and it's not just her. You know,
Exactly.
you know, if he's doing that and
Mm-hmm.
you're just taking and receiving all of this,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be looking for things after a while, because the
Absolutely.
thought process is, I'm doing this and it's not reciprocated, you know?
Yeah, it's
So
hard to love when you have resentment. It's so hard
yeah,
that you like Debbie. If you did like let me ask you something. When you set up that and you had that ambiance in your backyard in your garden and you and then you came and you're looking at his face, you're like, wait, I did all that and you're not. You know, I'm sure you all hyped up. You because you did it. You planned it in your
Mm-hmm.
mind, and you're like, "This is going. It's going to go this way. It's going to go that way." And
Absolutely.
yeah, you got this thing, and then when it go off the rail, you're like, I did
But
all
you know
this,
what?
and then you go ahead.
But you know what? I was talking to someone about how you respond to someone in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the ability to allow pride to come in
Mm-hmm.
and disguise itself as that,
Mm-hmm.
as you are defending yourself. You're trying
Yeah.
to
Right.
allow, you're
Right.
trying to express to that person how disappointed you are,
That's a great
because I was
analogy.
explaining that pride shows up as a defense. It
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel as though, yeah, I need to defend myself, I need to express myself, I need to do this.
Absolutely.
And the moment you walk away and you say, well, I'm not doing that again, you've allowed
Mm.
pride to get a hold of you.
That's it.
mm,
That's
Because
it.
the reality is that not everyone is going to show up in the way that you expect them to show up
Right. But
at,
what you're
at
doing
any
it
given.
for? Though? Are you doing it for adoration? Or you doing it for a pat on the
Absolutely.
back? You got to ask
Are
yourself, why am I
Why are
doing it?
you
Is it
doing
because I
this?
love him? I
yeah, that's
love you.
right.
I love
Right.
What
her.
what is your
Right.
motive behind
Yeah,
doing
but if you have
Absolutely.
ulterior motive, but if to me, if it's organic, I mean, if you just do it because that's who you are, I'm telling you,
Hmm.
don't
Yeah,
stop
Don't
being
stop.
who you are. You should stay who you are, stay true to who
that's the
you
way.
are. You know, but
Absolutely.
to be
That's the key.
to say you did all this work and then I ain't never doing it again. I ain't
And that's
man,
and
that's
that's
See,
you know,
where,
I've been there. I've been there with that as well, in saying that, what? Look at this. You're crazy. I ain't doing that again. Because
mm,
but
you
but the
feel
thing is,
so,
Paul, if you captured that
the
person,
person hasn't been destroyed. Hmm?
mm-hmm,
sorry,
Say
if
again?
you capture that person in that moment and you don't have that conversation with them and say to them, do you know what? I kind of felt some kind of way.
mm-hmm,
There
I,
you go.
I'd be honest with you. I had an expectation and like that got dashed. And I feel kind of hurt about how that turned out.
It
And
doesn't
give
stop
that
me from
person,
loving you. I'm just letting you know that this is how I feel.
right, and give that person the opportunity to express themselves. Like the the best thing that you can say to that person in that moment is, what's the matter, babe?
yeah,
Rather
yeah,
than thinking about yourself and how it's
mm-hmm,
making you feel. If
right,
you now say to them, what's the matter, babe? You don't seem your normal
yeah,
self.
exactly.
Then you, instead of telling them, what's your problem? What's your
Mm.
problem? Why are you
Look what I did.
responding like
Look what
that?
I did. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because at no at any given time, you really do not know what's going on in somebody's head.
You
You
don't.
really don't know how
You don't.
somebody is really feeling. You're seeing something externally. And one of the things that I was sharing recently is don't take everything so personal.
Absolutely.
Don't take everything so
Absolutely.
personal. It's not always about you.
About
It's not,
you.
it's not always
Exactly.
about that person not wanting the meal or feeling it could have something to do with something that happened a week ago that
Yeah.
had nothing to do with you. you know, I said to this woman, one of the ladies that I was working with, and I said to her during one of our sessions, I said, what made you think that he was angry with you? He was upset with you because of his tone, because of how he came across to me. I said, okay.
Yeah.
What I want you to do is to think about what he was saying. Think about what he was saying. I said, was there truth in what he was saying? She started to respond by saying, yes, but. I said, no. It's a closed question. It's a closed question. It's a yes or no answer. She said, yes, there was truth in what he was saying. But you didn't like the delivery. And because you didn't like the delivery, you spent time focusing on the delivery, shouting him down. You allowed pride to get in the way.
Absolutely.
You felt as though you needed to defend yourself because he had an attitude. But if you had stopped for a moment and say, this is why the Bible says, be quick to listen and slow to answer. Because if you listen for a moment, you would have heard the truth. And you would have, even if you didn't like how it was delivered, you know, you can have a package that is delivered to your house and it's come with
come on, listen. Amazon right now is just dashing it on your doorstep. You don't like how it's been delivered.
You don't like that. But the thing is, the thing that you want is inside of the package, inside of it is there. So you just have to say, right, don't like how these people delivered it, but you know what? I still got what I need.
Absolutely.
The reality is that if you and your partner are in conflict, expect that they might not come across with the right delivery, but listen to what they're saying and identify, yes, this is truth. And sometimes even when it's not truth, you need to know how to choose your battles. You need to know, you know, it could be tomato scenario. You need to choose your battles. It could be, excuse me, the big fish that swallowed Jonah. It could have been a whale. You get what I mean? You're arguing and complaining about things that you ought not to be complaining and arguing about, because that isn't the thing that you're arguing and complaining about.
And that's why we have to say less is more. Less is more.
Right. But you're lacking in, there's something that is missing within the relationship, and you're trying to let that person know that this is what is lacking. If there's a deficiency in your body, there is a reaction. There is a reaction. There's something that is going to show up, but your partner isn't a mind reader. You have to express that to them. Absolutely. And so one of the things that I will encourage people to do is to really identify their partner's bid for love. So not everybody's bid for love is going to be the same. So John Gottman, he's a phenomenal author. Him and his wife is really great. So this is one of the books that I've got. And this one is the 7 principles of making for making marriage work. And a bid for love or a bid for attention is, we could be driving down the road and your partner says, wow, babe, look at that over there. And you can just keep your head straight and keep on driving. And even though you might not be able to turn at that moment, you say, oh, what was it? Tell me, what was it?
You can do a glance. And
but you, even if you can't, you say, oh, what was it? What was it that you were showing me? That's a bid for love, for attention. And the moment you don't even acknowledge that, there's a problem. Because, and I've experienced it, where you go from, oh, wow, babe, you know, what is that you're showing me, to just keeping, just like they spoke and it's just like, oh, now you don't answer, you know, because there's something that is lacking. There's a deficiency there, and you need to find out what that is. Whenever you start to see these challenges starting to happen, don't ignore them. Don't ignore them, because you know where it is? People don't want to ask because they're frightened of what the answers are going to be. But
I think when it's like, it's something. I was telling a friend that you remember when y'all was dating, and I was telling him, I said, you remember he did something and you like, oh, that's but you know that's not you. But later on, y'all get married, and it comes up again. That
Right.
was who he was when he did it to you. And sometimes we take each other for granted. We stop listening to each other. This is the very first time something happens. I'm not saying at that moment, but sometime during that day before you go to bed, they say never go to bed angry. Don't go to bed angry. You sit down and you have to talk about it. And I know me, and sometimes we stop, and I was stopping. I sat on this sofa and I just crossed my arm like I ain't man. And we never resolved that issue. But
Pride
that
and ego.
issue, it festered itself in a relationship the whole time I was married. When my ex-wife gave me the divorce paper after coming from Trinidad, and she stood over me because I was crying. I was on my knees crying, and she told me everything she held in those 9 years that she didn't like. You understand me?
Those bricks,
Because I
Wow.
used
those
to
bricks,
brag.
those
I used to
bricks.
brag. I used to say, me and my wife, we never argue. She'll say something like we never did argue for real. I mean, we argue, yeah, but like 5 minutes. That's it. And she would never come back the next day and never tell me, yesterday, let's finish. She never in those 9 years, we never did it. But when
And
she
you
gave me
thought,
those
wow, this
divorce,
is awesome.
yeah, when she gave me
In it.
when she gave me those divorce papers, I mean, I mean, it took every bit of wind out of me. I've never felt that much pain. I've had surgery, but I never had that kind of pain before. And you
can,
begging, and
can
then
I?
she
Can
stood
I?
over me, and she had a laundry list of stuff over the 9 years that I didn't do, and how I made her feel, and the things that me as a man I was deficient at. You understand? And even
Mhm.
then, I didn't understand. And it's always is for me, it was through therapy. When you stuff, it's nasty when you gotta look inside yourself. It's tough, man. That,
Oh
that
God.
is a brutal, man. That's a
I,
brutal
I,
thing.
I,
But
I-
go
I'd
ahead,
like
bro.
to I'd like to put it out to the listeners if there's any questions, or if there is something that you think that you can add value to keeping love alive. Please, in the chat boxes, please just
Yeah,
send it over so
yeah,
we can read it out. And uh,
yeah.
That goes for you
you on
guys on
TikTok,
TikTok and
I
Instagram.
should be able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
I think
no,
it's
you're
in,
gonna look on. And
sorry, say that again.
no, you were saying, but I was gonna just go back to this. I'm gonna finish reading this on here as well. Um, so remembering to have fun and create new memories together can also reignite the passion and excitement in relationships. Love requires attention, effort, and commitment, but the rewards of a strong and enduring love are immeasurable. By putting in the effort to keep love alive, couples can create a deep and lasting connection that will sustain their relationship for years. And that is the truth. If you're not
Mhm.
putting in, you're not gonna get anything out.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely, bro.
it's going to be that what we keep on saying, the brick effect. There's
Yeah,
no mortar, there's no cement, there's nothing.
nothing to
It's
hold it
just bricks
together.
and bricks, nothing to hold it together. So when you're at crisis, yeah, that's just toppling over,
Yeah.
and those
Hmm.
bricks can be the resentment. You and building. It looks like you're building, yeah, but
Yeah,
there's nothing to sustain it. There's nothing that can keep it together when the troubles come, because
Mm.
you've
yeah.
held all this resentment. You side eye this person. I watched the TikTok the other day, and this it could be a short on YouTube. And what this woman was saying, she said, "I come before everybody else. For a man, it's supposed to be God first." She said, "I put it in the way that she said Jesus first, and then me. I come
Mm,
before the kids. Come before the game. I come before your friends. I come before all these other things." And if
mm,
I'm not before those things, then that's where the trouble's going to start, you know.
Mhm.
And for and likewise, for a man, he does want to be before everything else, and should be, because that's your king. He's serving God. Here is your king. You know, and I watched another one that you as a woman. Well, I say it how it said, if I remember it all. Eve was made for Adam to be a helpmate. Yeah, not a noise ache. They didn't say that bit. That's free. Yeah.
You're so
came to me, you know.
Paul, you're gonna get in trouble for that one, Paul.
You're so funny.
No, but it came to me, so I'm gonna say it, you know. No, I'm not gonna. It's one of these things that a woman in your life, has come to enrich us, to help us to grow. Because I always say that women have this thing in them to either build you up or tear you down. Yeah, if she's your helpmate, remember, that's an important role. That's like you having a manager that's supposed to train you. I remember going and working somewhere, and he's got me doing all these jobs. And when I went to him, I said, shouldn't I be learning about the paperwork as well? He said, if you don't like it, it's tough. Yeah, he said it's tough. What do you mean it's tough? Yeah, I'm supposed to be learning. You know, you're supposed to increase me in my knowledge. So a woman is placed in that place, from my opinion. You know, people can think differently.
No, it's true.
Enrich your life as a man, to build him up and not tear him down. Because if you want the full potential of that man that you say you love, you cannot keep beating him with words. You see, as men, I can say we love, some of us love talking, you know, but like me, I like you to speak into my life, you know, and speak life. Yeah, because the words that you're using can either cut me down or build me up. And when you know this as a woman, that you have the, I would say this power, don't like the word, but we'll use that for want of a better word. You have this power to increase the man that you're with. You also have the power to decrease him, and you get nothing. Yeah,
and
you're not going to get
it works both ways.
No, I was going to say it works both ways.
And the thing is as well, you're right in the sense that a woman, if you think about a woman, the way she's created is to give birth. You give her that seed, it's going to multiply. You're going to have a baby. You know, you give her a house, she should create a home. So there's something about a woman that anything that you give to her, it will be multiplied. It will become bigger and better. That's a woman that is grounded, a woman who knows how to be a wife. The Bible says, "He that finds a wife, not he that finds a woman,
finds a good thing."
You know, he that finds a wife. So you're already wifey material. You're not just a woman. And the Bible specifically doesn't say he that finds a woman, you know, finds a good things and obtains favor of the Lord. No, it doesn't say that. It says he that finds a wife. And so any woman that you know, you impregnate, she's going to multiply that she's keeping that thing, and she's growing that thing. I think that some of the challenges that I've seen in the dynamics in relationships is because there isn't what is considered to be true love, and it's sometimes infatuations. It's very strong feelings that you have for somebody, but it doesn't yet get to the place where it's love. And I think that love definitely grows over time. I don't think that every one of us, when we get married, that we love that person. The reason why I say that is because if you love someone, you will be demonstrating it in so many different ways. When I read the Bible, and I think that I've shared this before, in 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 4, it's talking about love, and it says, "Love is patient and love is kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable, and it keeps no records of being wronged. It does not rejoice when about injustice, but rejoices when the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith. It's always hopeful and endures through every circumstance." That's what love actually looks like from our Creator, who is love. You know, you can't get any better than that. And you know, it's really hard to match up to this. Without God, it is hard. That is
when you're navigating it. I think when you see somebody and the juices are flowing. I think, and he says in his word, that's when you, if you're worldly, you're gonna be thinking like a worldly person. A worldly person and a spiritual person, that's you're
Yeah,
gonna be in it for two different reasons. I think
absolutely.
when you, and that's what time tells us. If I'm talking to, I was talking to a young lady the other day, and I say, I just want, I'm grown. I've been here for a minute. I'm just saying, when I see you, I already know you my wife. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna
Mhm,
see it. It's
mhm,
nothing for you to say. No, you don't have to tell me or hold my hand. When a man meets you, he already know if he gonna
mhm,
be with you for the rest of your life. Some people are you try to make a seasonal person into a lifetime partner. That's where you run
Right.
into problems. Yo was only there to do this one thing. Yo did that one thing. It's time to move on. But
mhm,
sometimes you think it's a soul tie. It's something else that's tying you down. You
mhm,
don't know how to let go so God could replace it with something brand new. And that's the hard part. I always think that when we went into this relationship, we had so much in common. We talking all the time. The worst thing in any relationship is crickets. When those crickets
Yeah.
come in your life, man, you're
Oh
in
God.
trouble, man. When you, if you, man, if you, man, I'm telling you, those crickets and the laughter, those little things that used to make y'all. Sometimes, you ever been there where you with somebody, y'all don't speak a word, but y'all looking and you're laughing. Y'all just got this thing that you're laughing about the same thing, but you don't have to speak a word to that person. I think when you so caught up in, like I said, resentment plays a big part in any relationship. If you're doing something for favor, then you're lost when you started doing it, because that ruins any relationship. And it's not about, it's the small things. Those is the small things, because they add up to big things. And I say
mhm,
consistency. If you're not consistent in what you do on a daily basis, then something's going to happen. It gives the devil an opportunity to put a foothold in your relationship, and it's caused all kind of problems in your relationship. I'm just talking to somebody who's spiritual, who understand the spirituality of what I'm saying. And two people that you talk about love. I just know, just being married, love is not enough. It's just not enough. It's those little times. It's the you're rolling over, babe, over in the bed. Baby, you okay? You okay? You good? You good? I don't want you to go to bed, baby. Let's talk. Let me say something to me. It's small things that later on. My husband always asks me how I'm doing. My wife always asks me, call me a note or something, that made me know that she's thinking about me, that or he's thinking about me, because it works both ways.
Yes, it
And
does.
it's more than love. It's those little nuances. If you go back, there are pillars in the relationship. Love is somewhere at the bottom. It's those, you got to be consistent, loyalty, and trust. Those things, they go a long way in a marriage. That lets me know that when you walk out that door, I'm confident that you got me in your mind and I got you in my
Mm,
mind.
mm.
Those things, they matter. No matter how much you tell somebody, I love you, I love you. No, no, it's loyalty, trust, and commitment, man. If you don't have those things, those pillars in your relationship, then you got to ask yourself, what are we doing? What are we
the
really
thing,
doing?
the
It's
thing
those
is,
little things. Go ahead.
the thing is that the person you're with should be your confidant more than
Absolutely,
anybody
absolutely,
else
absolutely,
outside,
absolutely,
more than your
absolutely,
mom, more than your dad,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely,
more than your
absolutely,
best friend.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
yes, you can get some sound advice without a doubt.
No, no, Paul. Let me
And
tell you. So when you say
depending on,
sound
no,
advice,
I'm telling you,
Paul, when you say sound
let me
advice,
land it.
I'm saying if we're in a
You can get
relationship,
some sound advice.
but we
Yep.
in a relationship,
But
me and you in a relationship. What I don't
we're in
like
a
is,
relationship.
yeah, we in a me and you in a
Go on.
relationship, like we in a relationship, and it's me and you. Let's talk about it.
That's
Now,
right.
if we can't get no result, if you don't get what you need, but I always say that when you go out and you start talking Mary Jane and Sue, not everybody have your best interest.
Because
I think
they're
if
gonna
you and I are
feed.
best friends, if we best friends, then you come to me. As long as I'm not hitting you, I'm not being disrespectful to you,
It's a
and we
thing
could,
that they will
yeah,
feed into what you're feeling. You know,
exactly,
you have to
exactly,
think
Paul,
for yourself with that person. Now, if you've tried,
absolutely, yes,
yeah, and constantly tried, then you
yes.
need some outside encouragement. Therapy is really good, and you're a
Professionals. Go to
testament
the
to that as
professionals.
well.
Go
You
to the
know,
professionals.
and
Go to a
and
professional.
you know, and people who know their skill, know their art, or unbiased people. Yeah,
Mm,
because if
yeah.
they're unbiased, then neither either of your side,
Yes,
and they're going to say, hey, did you do this? And you're going to have to man up to what they're saying, you know, or you're going to have to humble yourself to what they're saying. An unbiased person is like the therapist, because they're going to be unbiased. They don't know you, you know, and even if they do get to know you, they'll still be unbiased. So rather choose the person that you're with to talk to and express your feelings. And when that all shuts down, then you know what to do from there. You know, we're running out of time. You guys are so quiet in the
just
chat.
getting started.
You're so quiet in the chat. You know,
they are quiet in the chat. That's kind of good. It's kind of like when people are eating and they're quiet, they're really enjoying the meal, kind of thing. Yeah, we want to hear your thoughts and your opinions on how to keep love alive. I don't know what your Instagram is saying, but people are just trying to come in and for them to join the chat. But the only way that you can join us in the chat is if you was to be over on YouTube, and then we could send you a link, and then you can actually jump on live on the platform with us. But we're not able to bring you on TikTok. I'm just getting all these notifications that people want to go live. So if you want
to go live with us, again,
you have to be on YouTube as well.
on this platform. If you want to get live and come on the like Dennis has, then send us your details through TikTok, because I think you can do messages like that
TikTok or Instagram
or Facebook, and then we'll set up a link for you that you could come on live like this on a video next week or the week after. Also, what we say to you is if there's any relationship topics that you'd like to talk about, and if we've covered it, we'll obviously tell you what video to go to. If we've not covered it, then we'll bring that subject, bring you on, and we can have up to 10 people on this platform here. And so you can be on here live with us. So another 8 people, if Dennis isn't here. And we can have a conversation. So that's what I want to put out there.
So
please share and tell your friends as well.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say, I'm going to kind of wrap up. I think that there are many ways that you can keep love alive. I think it's definitely necessary for you to drop the pride and to drop the ego. I think it's important for you to do those bids for love and don't really have the expectations how it's going to come back, how they're going to respond to it. I think it's so beautiful when you can remember something as simple as, I know that my partner loves a chocolate bar. So when you out, you bring back that chocolate bar. Do you get what I'm saying? It's sometimes it's the small things, like how we started off the show, just letting that person know that you was thinking about them, you know, that little love note, put on that sexy outfit that you know that they actually like, and that's men and women. You know, it's not just about women looking sexy. I think that right, let me just say this, I think society has really got women thinking that it's all about them. You know, there are actual men that likes plants and actually like flowers. You know, there are men that will put on that sexy outfit for you in the bedroom. Do you get what I mean? They've got some nice sexy men outfits out there. Like, do you know what I mean? You know, there are things that you can do. You can do that love note, you know, put it in his lunchbox or in his briefcase or in his rucksack. You can do that. So when he gets to work, you know, and he goes to eat his lunch, you've got that in there. You know, there's so much things that you can do as men and women, but obviously primarily I'm speaking to the women. It's not about him always making advances. You can make advances, make him feel special. You can say, can I give you a massage? Can I set you a bath? These things are not exclusive for just women. You know, it's that give and take. It's about you both
in our chat, right?
You will always come.
We have a cousin out there, right?
He said, "I'll get out my Tarzan loincloth." But yeah, it is about, you know, you expressing yourself to that person. And you know what as well, if you've experienced abandonment, if you've experienced rejection, it's so necessary for you to no oil available, Diddy. It's so necessary.
Wow.
I know people's just been killing the oil scenario. It's so necessary for you to heal from that. Because if you're not healing from that, anytime that person doesn't do what you expect them to do, you are going to feel rejected. You're going to feel abandoned, and you're going to feel as though that person doesn't want to be with you, and all different things that can come off of that. But that could be so far from the truth, especially if, like, you could be tired. You can come in from work, you can have a really busy day, whatever, and that person wants to be intimate with you, whether it's a man or a woman, and they're just tired. It's not about you. It's about them just genuinely being tired and say, like, not tonight, babe. They can say it in the most beautiful way, not tonight, babe. And if you haven't healed from rejection and abandonment, you hear him saying, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to sleep with you. I don't want to touch you. Do you get, I mean, you hear something completely different. And I think it's so important for people to heal. And I think it's important for you to keep on showing your love despite what might come back. I mean, we're not talking about abuse and stuff like that, but we're not talking about that. We're just talking about doing those bids for love, keeping the love alive. Let the children go to a babysitter, or make mom or dad or whoever come to the house and have yourself a date night. Schedule things in. There's no harm. Do you know? Sorry, I know this is going on, like wrapping up, but I'm just kind of like putting everything in. I know that there was a couple, and I said to them, I was having a conversation, and now you don't do nothing. You don't do bids for love. You don't do sexy outfits. Both of you ain't asking each other out. You're not doing nothing. So one of my suggestions, and I never tell people what they should or shouldn't be doing, it's always a suggestion, and you can do whatever you want with it. And I was there saying, what would be good is if you start to schedule in, you know, date nights, schedule in when your husband or wife wakes up in the morning, give them a hot drink. You know, if they're going out before you, maybe do their lunch. You know, these are things that a person really appreciates, a husband or wife appreciates. So you do all of that, but you schedule in a time, you set your alarm for certain times, because when you get into a rhythm of getting up, taking your kids to school, doing this, you've gotten into a rhythm of doing that. You're in a routine anyway. Yeah. Why wouldn't you set a routine to be intentional about showing your partner love and showing them affection? Oh, that sounds very methodical. It doesn't feel real. Keep on doing it until it just becomes normal. How about that? Because if you've got nothing set up at all and you're not being intentional, then you will just continue doing more of the same. It's not methodical for you to set your alarm for the children to get up, for them to take the shower, for you to get up, for you to get to work, for you to catch the train or the bus or whatever. None of that sounds methodical. But when I'm saying to you, your partner needs affection, you sort of need to come together. You're telling me it sounds methodical because you want to make excuses. Set these things in place until it becomes the norm for you, because you will just go into the flow. You will know, you know, he comes home from work at this time, make sure that his dinner's ready. You know that she's tired at this particular time. Let us be intimate before it gets to. Why do people always wait until it's like 10 o'clock, like, to be intimate? Why do you do that when you know that you're going to be tired? That is crazy. And you sit and watch television all evening, and then do you get what I mean? And then you go to bed, and then you're tired. Why ain't you making love at 6 o'clock if you can? Like, in my head, I'm like, are you crazy? You're spending all that time watching TV
all the day.
Yeah, watching TV, and then it gets to 10, 11 o'clock, and then you want to make a move, and then it's like the person's tired. Are you crazy? What was you doing for the last 3 hours?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And then you go to bed, man. You go to bed.
Let's go to bed. Shut off the TV. Put on some sexy music, some sexy outfit. Jump in the bath early, and get your groove on earlier. That way, your partner's not going to be tired. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
you know what, Debbie, let me get on the back of that.
Go on.
Even if you can set your alarm to get up in the morning, you can set your alarm to get some in the morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at the weekend, if that be the case. Yeah, before you get up for work, whatever it is. And
do you remember that song?
If you are home, both of you, and the children are asleep, or they're at school because you got a day off or whatever it is, that's when you find that time.
Whatever
not,
time you
not only to make love, but you could be dancing in the living room and having fun. You put on the music and you act all goofy and everything else.
Whatever
if
time
you're not making an effort, that's why it's boring. Yeah, that's the word. That's why it's boring.
But Paul, let me say something. Yeah, if you do not schedule something in, it's just not going to happen. We know this. Yeah, it's great to be spontaneous, but if you are not doing anything, if you're not being spontaneous right now, then just set an agenda. That's all. Just set an agenda, and then it will then cause you to be spontaneous, because you'll think, oh, do you know what? I've got that extra time. Let me go and get a meal, or let me go and do this, or do you get what I mean? Whatever it is. But if you don't have nothing, if you're not doing nothing at the moment, then just set an agenda, set something in place that is going to get you guys just kickstart it. That's what I would say, in order for you to
if you really want it. That's if you really want it.
Well, if you don't really want it, then you need to go counseling. That's what you need to do. You need to get some extra help and some support. Because you know what is crazy as well? People wait until shit hits the fan, then they're there going and trying to get help. Do you get what I'm saying? But if your engine light comes on your car, you go and get you go and get the help. You don't keep the engine light going for too long, because if you do, eventually the car is going to clap out on you. But in your relationship, you see the things going, and you don't do nothing until it gets to a place where the person's just like, either they're checked out and you know that they've checked out, or things are they just collapse on you. Do you get what I mean? And then you're trying to do then you're trying to do rescue.
You're trying to resuscitate what's already gone.
Sorry, I'm sweating in here because I'm just when you start.
I see you sweat there. I see, man.
Yeah, she was in.
We go past the offering basket in a minute.
Debbie was in.
Yeah, but
Debbie, I'm waiting for you to say in closing.
No, because you know what it is. Yeah, the reason why I'm passionate about it is because. Sorry, what did you say?
I was saying, I think some people should be sending some gifts right there for all that caption right there. gift my sister.
But you know what? The reality is, the reality is that the reason why I'm passionate about it is because, like, since the podcast, I've been working with more and more couples, yeah, and individuals and couples, and I think that the things that people are talking about is so solvable. It's not it, but you've made it become eroded. So if I asked people like a year ago where things were at, it was nowhere near what it was at like now. What was you doing then? Well, you was waiting and hoping that the other person will turn around, but you could already see that things were challenging. Why wasn't you starting to make changes at that point? Do you get what I'm saying? So to me, it's really sad. I'm hearing like things that you you don't really need to experience. And I know from experience that when you're in it, sometimes you can't see it. Do you get what I mean?
You can't. That's
Sometimes you
why
can't.
it's important that
Sometimes you can't see it.
when you're 1,000 feet above, and I've been there, and that's through therapy. But that's when
Hmm.
when you're up close and you said it's the truth. You can't see it, and then when you're way up high, you're looking down. You're like, oh my God, that's what I
Hmm.
did. I grabbed my head. I said, oh my God, how did I? Oh my God, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
Because you're so close on it,
Yeah.
and when you're left to your own devices, you make mistakes and you don't know how to come back from it. You don't know how to say I'm sorry. And
Hmm.
in anything, I know for me, resentment, you can love somebody, but that resentment will trump that
Yeah.
love that you have for that person because you're so you know when you do stuff like I say, whenever you do something and you do it with expectations, you're gonna feel because you don't know what that person went through today. You don't know nothing of you didn't ask your husband or your wife, how was your
Hmm.
day, baby? How was your day? You know, and they may say something, but you're so into what you're doing, you forget to hear that they had a horrible day that
Hmm.
something happened today that affected it. But you all about, oh, I done made this meal, I done did all this. I. Man, you got to get away from I. You got to
Yeah.
take I out of your relationship because it takes both people. But if you're not in sync with your person, then you find yourself in trouble, you know, because
Mm.
y'all on two different sides. If you don't take time out to reassess your relationship, it's gonna fall. And I'm
Hmm.
telling you, before that time come, every relationship, you know, if I get in a relationship again, I'm gonna do maintenance for the rest of my life. You know, to
Absolutely.
go
That
to,
warning
I'm gonna
light,
go,
that engine light,
yeah.
when
That's
that
part
engine light,
that, yeah,
Like
like
yeah. You
like
got
my
you,
battery,
you
like my
and
service
battery on
your
my phone
car,
now.
yeah,
everybody
even
service
even
their car.
before.
They make
Mhm.
sure that they service their car once a year. How about you just servicing your marriage once a
Service
year?
your relationship.
Why
Yeah,
not go
go,
to
go.
marriage conference? Today
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I I was sending someone, this isn't all of my books. There's more of them. Invest in your marriage, invest in your relationship. Get books. Get books.
Hmm.
Do you get what I mean? This is just some of the books that I've got. Yeah. And
Hmm.
these are all to do with relationships, all to do with marriage. Invest in your marriage, you invest in everything else. You want to get the designer shoes, you want to get the handbag and everything like that. A
Mm.
book, you're not going to get a book. The book ain't going to be like £20. Do you get what I mean? Get the book,
Hmm.
get some knowledge. So what you guys were saying earlier on in terms of, going to people, not necessarily going to people, you can go, you can pick up a book.
But
you can
Hmm.
you can you can start to read stuff that will give you insight. This husband and wife duo, the Gottmans, they've got over, I think, 30 years experience of working with couples, not just counseling. They actually put couples in a lab and they see
Hmm.
how people respond to different things at different time. Invest in your relationships,
Yeah.
invest in it,
I
because
do want
you
There's
to
a
you
read.
only can be better.
right,
And don't
right.
wait for the other person to do you good. You just do good because you know that you should be doing good. You know
Should
that
be
you're meant to be
doing
showing
good.
them love. You don't have to wait. Oh, they don't do that for me, so I don't see why I should be doing that for them. Why not?
See, that's a
Absolutely.
selfish
Because that's what
mentality.
turns somebody
Yep,
towards you
yep,
and not
yep.
away from you.
Yeah,
If you're
and
doing
that's
for
why you
them,
say you do good, and you say I should have never done good, but God, we're mandated by God. No matter how
mhm,
much thing goes bad, He said, continue to do good,
good.
continue to do
You
right.
can't go
You
wrong.
hit me today, you cannot do this thing. There's a great movie. It's a Christian movie called Fireproof. Man, you gotta look. You gotta see what that guy did with him and his dad. It's an amazing movie. And I
Mhm,
remember some years ago. Um, um, Whatever you do secretly, he says, God said, whatever you do secretly, he will reward you openly. And what that guy did on his own is called fireproof. His dad showed him the steps. And he
mhm,
did the steps without his wife knowing. You understand? It's amazing what he did. You understand? I remember a group of us guys that I was doing a Bible study on Fridays with. They all we got collectively and do it without our wives knowing. You understand? And just do it because it's mandated by God. It's
mhm,
us having to, you can't be afraid of change, and you can't keep doing those old things. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a
mhm.
different result, and you got to find yourself in a place where, wait a minute, I've been trying this for days and weeks to try to get through to my wife or my husband.
Try
Let me
something.
try something different. I got to do something different. What I'm doing apparently is not working. And if you love that person, I mean, if you love that person, then you would do what's necessary to keep your marriage together. And listen, listen is a large art. And also, less is more. Less is more. You know, and to me, if you're in a relationship and you find yourself in trouble, I will tell you, don't wait till the end where you're begging and you're getting all your feelings and you get mad and you're upset. Do the maintenance. Go to some other people. Go to a group. Look for a weekend getaway or week. They do things you don't even have to leave. Just
That's right.
go to a place now and you can see older couples that have been married 40,
Absolutely.
50 years and they're giving you that wisdom, man. I mean, they're giving it to you real because it happened to us, this old dentist. They was married 50 some years. They were dentists. They both of them were dental hygienists, and they retired because of their hands. Their hands wasn't good. But what he spoke, oh my God! Also, I understood what he was saying because they're from where I'm from. They're from Louisiana, and the way he spoke it, I understood. You understand? And it's just that by the time I got to there, my wife she was gone already. Even though she wanted to go to there, I immersed myself in it. You know, and while I was there, I saw a guy. I look across the room. That guy was just like me. He was like, "Ah," and his wife, she all standing up straight and she's listening. He didn't want to be there more than a man in the moon. And I saw myself in it. And I said, I'm not gonna be that fool. But by the time I got there, it was too late. You understand what I'm saying? And when I'm home, it was called a coffee and conversation, tea and talk. I still remember that's almost 15 years ago. And it was you wake up in the morning, a coffee and a conversation with your wife, tea and talk, and then we had this thing on the refrigerator, these 10 things that we recite, because I think repetition over and over, like minds think alike. Once we started talking and I realized that, and I remember I never forget that day. I was right by the refrigerator, and I said, we went to this thing, and let's read this thing together. And she said no. She did it a couple of times, but even then, I didn't identify that she was done. I'm saying before it gets done, do your research, man. Go and get help. Do the maintenance for your relationship. It's important. Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool like me and you're waiting and then it's gone. Everything that you work for, everything you ever wanted is gone because you have a hard head and you're not respectful of what's going on in front of you because you're stubborn, and then you live a life of resentment and you're mad and get more mad, and it's not helping your relationship at all. What it's doing is damaging your relationship and you're getting further and further away from it. I would always tell you, man, go and get help. Go to the professional, not to your mama, not to your sister, not to your brother, not to your auntie. Go to the professionals. They don't have a dog in that race. You go for
Mhm.
yourself and get the help that you need. And also, you got to pray, man. I'm telling you, you got to have him in your life. But two people together, join in hand. And he said, wherever there are two or three, he's going to be there. He's right there with us. And sometimes we
Absolutely.
lose that. I know that me personally, we lost it on two different sides of the street. And you can't come back. You try, but it's no good if just you're trying. You're digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole. Do the maintenance on your relationship, and you see what happens. It's important that it's more than love. Trust me, it takes more. You can love somebody. Like I said, I love this because love should have brought you home last night. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. Loving somebody anyway is the
Yeah.
trust and the commitment and the loyalty that you have to that person that will stop you from getting out there in that world and bringing something back to your home that you can't get rid of.
Mm. Awesome.
Wonderful. I just
Over
want
to
to
you,
just
Paul.
read. I just want to read. We have Carlton in here. I think he's come before, but this is the first time I've noticed him. He said he's missed so much information for so long. Wonderful, wow, powerful, so much knowledge in marriage and for us all to walk in the love of God. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Carlton. Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Thank
And
you.
I just want to say that TikToks, all those likes and the shares and the gifts that was sent, thank you so much. We're going to be on again next week. Please invite your friends and family and join us as well, because we've gone way over. I think I said about an hour ago, no, half an hour ago, we're gonna
Hey,
we're gonna
Paul,
Yeah,
wrap
Paul,
this.
before
that's
you
all good.
before you go, Paul, did you get my invoice?
There's no invoice this time.
Golly.
There's
Oh
no
Lord.
invoice this time. Yeah,
No,
this.
I'm talking about
Didn't
no.
you get?
I'm
Didn't you
talking.
get the message?
No, I'm talking about from the others. The other.
Unfortunately, it's a tax write-off. It's gone.
Hey man, we got the IRS over here. I don't know what I got across the pond. We got the IRS
That's the
And
problem.
you get paid. You get paid for this. You'll probably get $2 from it. take the whole lot.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah,
wow.
Paul, your final words.
You know what? Definitely put the work in. Communicate, open communication, real talk. Yeah, all this beating around, chatting foolishness and holding all of these grudges. It will not work. It will not work. It might not work. It will not. I'm a divorcee twice, unfortunately. You know, I'm still learning myself, you know, and I'm glad for these sessions like this, being able to read different information as well that's giving me fruit. I ain't arrived, and I hope I don't arrive in learning. You know, I want to constantly learn, because I'm imperfect in some of my ways, if not in all of my ways. You know, there's only one that's perfect, and I can't match. I can't match up to him. So all I can do is strive, and all you can do is strive and try. You got to. It has to be noticeable. Trying, you know. This is part of the stroke thing. As it gets later, my speech becomes more like staggered, you could say, or trying to say words. But that's our side note. You got to keep it going, keep trying, keep talking, keep loving, give God the glory.
Amen. And try something different, as Dennis said. Try something different. Don't keep on doing the same things over and over again, and it's not working. You know. So yeah, another episode down. Thank you. It's series 3.
No, season 3, series 1,
and episode 1.
Yeah. All right.
So we will be on, God willing, next week Tuesday, and I am looking forward to that. Another good topic. Really and truly, if you want to come on board with us on YouTube, really, send us messages on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. DM us and we will send you the link to join us live. If there's any subjects that you think that we haven't covered and you would like us to cover, please let us know in the DMs also. So until next week, good to have you on board again, Dennis. Hopefully see you again soon. And Paul, my bro, I will talk to you soon. All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Put the music on.
Put some music on, some leaving music. Come on, Mr. DJ.